David likes the fact that Yui don't limit.
Got some insurance ads coming up. That's always good. Rightio, let's get this underway. G'day, Stu from UAV Futures here, and welcome to the live stream, the FPV Mix, where we can just get together, talk about all things FPV, watch some videos, answer some questions. But first things first, let's get this camera fixed up. Hopefully that's going to be in focus, and I'm kind of new to stream, so we need to check the audio. Put your comments down below as well, so let me know if you can hear me, how the stream quality is going, all that sort of stuff. And I'm going to try and do some magic, get this stream happening. And I even got a super chat, so thank you so much. Also, yeah, if you want to put some super chats in, that definitely does help out quite a lot in this definitely Corona locked in inside state of affairs. But this one is from Gaptoothed Granny. Built a 3-inch quad with DJI HD equipment using a 4S 650 milliamp hour pack. Best motor prop combo for max flight time. If you want max flight time on a 3-inch, I would probably say, and a 4S, probably go a lower profile prop. Maybe not something like the mini Cyclones or anything like that from DLRC. Maybe just some of the little gem fans, 30. I think they're the 3025s or something like that. As far as a motor combo, maybe I think there is the. Let's have a look here, see if I can find it on Bangers. Like some of the micro Zing motors are pretty good. I'll jump over for a second. Man, we're jumping straight into the questions. And I should also say, welcome to anybody else who's new to the stream. Let me know what you think about it, all that sort of stuff. And I do need to double check that the sound is coming through. Oh, and even Donnie's throwing in a super chat. Wow, this is going to $6. I'm rich. I'm retiring right now. Alrighty, so these Zing motors, 1407s. And I've tried to set up some hotkeys on my thing so I can easily switch. There we go. Look at that. Absolutely professional. Maybe some of these bad boys I think would be, I don't know about extreme flight time, but yes, maybe something like the 2450 kV on a 4S setup probably might be nice. Oh, these are 2207s. That's not the ones I was thinking about. Where are these? 2208s. I thought we had some smaller Zings. These bad boys would be fairly powerful. It depends how heavy it is as well. Maybe let me know, Gaptoothed Granny, how heavy is your quad all up? But these, I think these motors would be quite nice. Depends how much work you put into your build as well. But let me know how heavy it is going to be all up and what sort of frame as well. Alrighty-o. Let's have a look here. So scrolling down, and also if you tag me with @UAV Futures, it definitely helps when I'm answering the questions, because in the stream, it's tricky to try to do the stream, read all the questions, find out which ones are just people commenting to other people, which ones are asking me a question or addressing me. So if you do @UAV Futures, or if you do a super chat, it comes up with like big green or big red or big blue, a big banner there. It makes it very easy to answer some of those questions. Rightio, let's have a look. So Donnie, he just gave me a fist pump with $3. Thanks very much, Donnie. Very much appreciated, brother. Let's keep scrolling down for answering some more questions. And radio. So Dax is saying at UAV Futures, I got the DJI video. I much rather use Crossfire now, but I got used to hearing the motors through a mic. Is there any way to get audio again? And I'm going to say, Dax, I actually don't know about that. Not as far as I know, you can only get that through the analog. And DJI has not incorporated that into their microphone to send that back to you. So the DJI is kind of a closed ecosystem. So unless there is an update, I don't think you can get the motor noise to come through on here. I'm going to scroll down. We've got oh, Donnie. We will just bump it up then. Donnie, you're a crazy man. Radio, let's give Christopher Labelle. Never been in a UAV Future live before. This thing is awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's new to me as well, so I'm still learning. Let's see if we can jump back to my ugly mug here. I'm still learning how to do this, and I do enjoy the live streams. They're a lot of fun, and give me a chance to answer some questions directly, face to face. Usually they're through my email, but it's always nice to have that bit of live feedback. And I'm going to say too, there is some links. If you haven't checked them out, we'll talk about them in a few times. There is the Discord link, which should be, I don't know if this camera is going to be back to front or what. There's a Discord link up there in the description. Definitely go and check that out because that is a really cool place where if you look here, you can just jump in, have a chat all about different things about FPV. I just posted my thing in here. We've got about 13,000 members in there talking FPV all the time. So if you ever have some questions and I'm not online or you need some desperate help, it's a great place to jump in there and yeah, get some live help. You can jump in there, you can do voice chats, all this sort of stuff. Quite often, I've made some amazing friends through there as well. David Brown, hello from the other side of the world. All right, so from Washington, it looks like I don't know what the time is over there. What is the time in the US as well? I'd love to. Or what's the time where you guys are at? I can see Gaptoothed Granny's. Looks like he's weighing his quad. Thanks to Imperial Wrecker for tagging me so I can answer your questions. Just man, what's going on here? I've never had so many super chats. All right, we're gonna answer some of these. So Terrell Dyra, I hope that's how you say it. I feel terrible. Thank you so much for that $1.99, brother. Very much appreciated. There's not even a question there. If you've got a question, throw that in as well. And talk about a one-up. Dax is also jumping in there. I don't know what's going on. So you guys are crazy. Okay, let's start answering these. So Imperial Wrecker, I was wondering where do I get cheap 40mm props for a variety of purchases? Honestly, props are one of those things that you just have a Google. I think race day quads. I get a lot of mine from Bangers, but they're more international buys. If you're in the US, sometimes people go Amazon. I think it's Get FPV, which I get confused with Next FPV if you're in Australia. But yeah, just I don't know. Have a Google there. It's also a difference though between don't get super cheap when it comes to props. You don't need to get the really, really high name brand, super expensive ones. Just find something in the middle of the range, and they're probably going to last you a bit longer as well. The super cheap ones, made with that bad plastic that might be years old, it's just going to explode on first impact. All right, Carlos D. This one is at UAV Futures from Carlos D. I got a personal question. I'm having trouble with isolation on my GoPro video. I made a TPU mount and made the standoffs out of O-rings and still nothing. What do you mean, Carlos? What's the problem there? You getting oscillations or what's the deal? Still nothing? It's not recording, or you've made a video with it and it's not coming out the way you want. The color's off. I need a little bit more info so I can help you there. Hayden Itch, what's a good starter FPV setup from going line of sight straight to FPV? So Hayden, I need to know, do you already have any kit? If you've already got a line of sight stuff, what are you currently using? And then we can give you, I don't know, some advice. But if you just want to put FPV on a build, I would say the on-way, it depends. Do you want to go starter or do you want to go value? If you want to, let me have a look here, show you the on-way Commander V1s. Let's see the price of these. If they are cheap, which they're not, boom, boom, this is a shame. So this is a $200 pair right here. I have seen them for $150, or like my viewers probably know, the Sky Zone O2 Cs if you want to go really good value. These are the goggles that I personally use, these ones here. Actually, I use the O2Xs. Where are the O2Cs? Here. These are the O2Cs, $268. They're a great price, but also the Nun goggles, which I think, is it Viper? Viper F. I can't remember the name of it. There is a video somewhere. I'm sure someone can put it in the comments as well. The Viper something. They look like a pair of Nun goggles, but they're a good budget one as well. But if you get that, then you can pretty much put any FPV cam on there on your drone that you're flying around, your line of sight drone, and turn it into an FPV kit. All right, Sky Strider. I'm finally over my fear of the FAA. I'm planning a 5-inch build. The frame I'm wanting to use that we use as a 30 by 30 stack, and I usually only into 20 by 20s, so I don't know what's good right now. Here's my advice with 20 by 20s, 30 by 30s. If you've got, and we're talking, that means the frame size, the actual size, let me get this. That means the actual size of the board, for anybody who's not sure what we're talking about when we say 20 by 20 or 30 by 30. We're talking about a 30 millimeter by 30 millimeter square board in here for your flight controller, or a 20 by 20, which is those much smaller ones. There's even 16 by 16 used on some tiny little micros. But these bad boys, I think if you've got a 5-inch and you're going to be building something and you've got the room, go 20 by 20. There is a larger surface area, and I think, when it comes to dissipating that heat, especially of the ESCs and everything as well, if you've got the larger space, use it. Yes, there is some tiny 20 by 20 ESCs, but if I had to choose, I would say statistically, you're going to be more likely to have a fire or a burnout if you're using a 20 by 20 over a 30 by 30. Anyway, that's I guess we'd really have to have a global look at the data and the pictures, but that would be my guess anyway. And there's no real difference for the everyday pilot. If you can fit a 30 by 30, go with that every single time. I want to say too, for Russell, thank you for tagging with @UAV Futures. Makes it so much easier for answering my questions. Is there a good charger out there that can do both 1S Whoop lipos and 4 to 6S lipos that you could recommend? This is one part that I do find a little bit tricky. So I use the Sky RC Q200 charger, which is, hopefully, if I press this button, which is this charger right here. And I absolutely love this charger. But when it comes to charging 1S Whoop packs, let's see if we can find. This charger is amazing. It can do four batteries at once. It's got a built-in power supply. It can do a whole bunch of different things. It's a very, very powerful charger. I think it can even hook up to your phone, although I don't use that function. I usually just and I've been using it for years as well, I should say. I've had 2 of these going for probably 3 to 4 years, and they have been absolutely rock solid. Never skipped a beat. The only part that I probably will need to upgrade is the plastic cables that come with it. There's no wonder if there's any pictures of it. Oh, look at it. Here we go. Here's my video too. You can use your phone there. A few people have reviewed it, but the plastic cables that come with it to connect your balance leads, they seem not brittle, but a little bit loose after 4 years of plugging batteries in and out. But that's it. So sometimes it will be like, oh, your battery's not connected properly, and I've really got to make sure it's in there nice and secure. The other charger, though, when it comes to whoops, 1S charger, you can't go past, and I'm just Googling 1S because I don't know the name for this one. It's about this thing, the Ultra Power. This is absolutely amazing. I love this charger, and I actually have bought about 10 of them because I have a whole bunch of whoops that I like to take around and get people flying. And I wonder if I've even... Oh, Grumpy Trev's got a video here too, so go watch Grumpy Trev's video. That charger is probably, I think, the best LiPo charger on the market. I know I had a bunch of people come down. Shout out to some people from Discord. They came down. We all flew interstate and kind of had a big meetup, big FPV meetup. A ton of fun. Those people know who they were, but we had about 6 of these out there. So I brought 6 of these along, and everybody could just charge their Whoop batteries, and then we really were off to the races. So a very, very amazing 1S charger. It's hassle-free. You can simply plug your LiPo into one end, which you can see here, or the other part I like as well. Let's see if they're going to show it in a photo. If not, it's kind of stupid of them. Come on. Show me the other side. There we go. You can also plug it directly into the wall. So if you need to charge like that. Oh, you guys can't even see. What is going on here? This charger here, you can plug it directly into the wall, and then it works as well. So very, very cool question. All right, let's, man, what's going on here? So many questions. Raven's given me a donation. Are those X Nova motors on the quad? Yes. This one here that you're talking about. And if I don't answer your question, if it gets lost in the stream, because I'm going to try to answer, of course, people with the super chats first. They're very easy to read out, but feel free, if I haven't answered it in about a minute, to pose it again if it gets lost in there. Maybe not every single minute, but at least have a go once or twice if I haven't answered it. These on this craft right here, yes, I know I keep holding it up because it's just been sitting here. I know need to do not some work on it. I want to do some work on the video about it, but yeah, these are some new X Nova motors, and I've heard amazing things. This craft, I want Granger on the sticks because this is next. I would say this is professional competition, 1% grade, like the top echelon of drones. Is probably this right here, the most impressive racing drones on the planet. I just want Granger on the sticks flying that thing around. But yes, it's well spotted there. All right, let's have a look here. So. Trevor No Weiler is asking at UAV Futures, analog or digital? Well, I guess it depends. And all the more information you can give me in a question as well. I know it's hard with the $300 character limit, but the more information, the easier it is to answer your question. So analog or digital? And I would say it depends. Like if you're talking just getting into the hobby, just go analog. If you're talking about the best experience, you really cannot beat a DJI headset. I was really skeptical at the start, and everybody knows I'm not the biggest fan of DJI as a company, as one company having a monopoly. No one else seemed to really make a video about the dangers of that happening. But you also can't argue with the product itself. So the product is amazing. You put that thing on, and it is. You can watch a video where we should probably check it out now. Actually, check this out, and we'll show you Grumpy Trev's and some of the other people's impressions. I forgot how to spell UAV Futures for a second. What's going on here? All right, is it worth $1,000?
DJI's new hate.
We're going to jump over, have a quick squiz right here. Blah, blah. Here we go. Let's have a look at Grumpy Trev.
Let's do it.
And if I crash this, am I in trouble today?
Well, I've never had a go.
And we've never flown it
this quite
at the time of
I
this.
will be upset.
So we were only used to flying around with analog
no,
when we're going to
punt
watch
it in.
this.
All right.
Stick them on. Oh, DJI. Holy oh, mate.
That's just without it even
It's just like
flying.
sitting in front.
He's
It's
speechless.
like watching a movie.
Speechless.
All right. I'm gonna turn the
shit.
radio.
Yeah, they are. It is
What do
pretty
you mean?
special.
Stop.
Let's have a look at
No.
him flying.
All I can say so far, awesome. Oh, yes, I'm loving this.
So yeah, that's what the actual experience is like when you're flying around. So as far as DJI goes in quality wise with the actual FPV feed, it really is next level. All right. Let's have a look here. Scrolling down. Thank you to Camera Addict for tagging me, so I know what to answer. It's much easier to highlight those. At UAV Futures, how do you decide what amperage rating your ESC should be? So this is a really good question. So ESCs, the reason your amperage matters is because if you draw too much current through your motor, you're going to fry your ESC. So certain ESCs have certain ratings. You might see next to an ESC, it might say 20 amp. You don't see this so much anymore. It's fairly a 20 amp with a 30 amp burst, or a 50 amp with a 70 amp burst. Now what that means is if we are looking at 20, I'm going to get an example on the screen. This is going to be much easier to talk about. Let's have a look at 20 amp ESC. And that is a terrible example, but we'll have, this will do. Okay, so if I go here, so 20 amp ESC. So that means this ESC is rated for 20 amps. If you're going to put that on there, this is a 4-in-1, so this can do 4 times, each motor. Each ESC in here, this ESC has 4 in there, can draw up to 20 amps comfortably, and it should say it has a burst rating as well. Somewhere in the specifics. Continue. Okay, 20 amp with a current burst of 25 amps. Now what that means is if you do a really heavy punch out, it can handle 25 amps, even though it's not really rated to do that constantly. It can handle a burst rating of 25 amps for a little bit, and then if you go back to 20 amps, it's going to be okay. If you fly at 25 amps all the time, it's going to catch on fire. But you can do a little burst, you know, up to it. It's going to be okay. The heat is going to build up, but it's going to be able to dissipate that if it's under that 10-second timer, which it says right there. Now, what you're asking is how to know what motor and prop to use for and what ESC to choose when it comes with amperage. Generally, the larger your motor, so a 2207, and the larger the stator, the more amps it's going to draw. So, and it also has to do with kV and also has to do with prop. So if you've got a big motor on here, let's say a 2207, a 2307, that is a big motor. That's going to draw a lot more current than say a 1405 or a 1407, just generally because it is a larger motor. There's got larger magnets in here. It's going to be sucking down more juice. It's going to be running more current through the ESC. Now, if the motor isn't so much the part that draws the amperage so much when it's just spinning. These motors, if I just revved them up like this, are going to draw hardly any current because there's no prop on here. Then what you need to think is, what size prop on here? So if you just have a small 3-inch prop, it's not really going to be pushing out. An easy way to think of it is how much air is actually going to be, how much thrust is it going to be making. If you are pushing out a ton of thrust with a big heavy prop that is not efficient, say a big bullnose prop, it's going to be sucking down a heap of amps. If you've got a big 6-inch prop on here, it's going to be drawing even more amps. If you've just got a small 3-inch prop, it's not going to be drawing quite so many. So the more air a prop is going to be pushing out, the more aggressive and grunty and I guess steep the pitch is on the prop, it's going to be drawing more amps. And then the third thing to consider is how high a kV are you running. So if you are running a low kV motor, say we're just going to talk 4S here, say if you're running in 1800 kV motor, that is going to draw less amps at full throttle than a 2700 kV motor. So 2700 kV, it's going to be spinning faster. That's just the way kV works. The higher the kV, the faster the motor spins, which means the faster that big prop is going to be spinning around, the more juice it's going to be sucking down, and that means more amperage. So you want to do, as a safe bet, I would say any 40 amp ESC with a burst rating of 50 amps is probably going to be okay for a normal 4S quad, as long as you're not going ridiculous with a really high kV motor on there and an extremely aggressive bullnose 6-inch prop, so, or even just a 5-inch prop. So just, if I would say most pilots 40 to 50 amp, maybe a burst of 50 to 60 is going to be fine. Back in the day, we used to use 20 amp ESCs, but we were only flying around when we had 3S quads. And I should also say as well, if you're using 6S, lucky for you, the amperage is actually a little bit less because those motors have a lower kV. It's a little bit more efficient as well. So I don't know. I think generally, if you're on a 4S, try to pick a 40 to 50 amp normal ESC, which is pretty common nowadays as well. Okay. Carlos D. The question for more information. Okay, we're going back to the GoPro mount. I have vibrations in my GoPro footage, and I've tried everything to isolate it, and still nothing. What could it be? The GoPro TPU mount? Well, Carlos, it depends what GoPro you're actually using. So make sure if you're using, I believe it might have been the GoPro. Did GoPro do a 6 or something? There is one of them where you make sure you have stabilization turned off. Not the 7, not the 8. Make sure you have stabilization turned off if it's an older model. Other than that, if you have the 8, try turning on hyper smooth. So the hyper smooth parts work very well on whether it be the 7 or the 8. And otherwise, what's your quad normally like? What's it like in the FPV feed? I would say, Carlos, if it's jittering around everywhere when you're normally flying, you probably have an issue with your quad. If it's just coming up only in the GoPro footage, well, then there's something wrong there, whether it be the mount that is actually connected to, whether it be, or whether it be one of those settings. Maybe try lowering the frame rate, lowering the resolution as well on the GoPro. That's what I'd try to be doing. I'd be trying to find out where does this problem come from, what's causing it, then you can work on that solution. Is it the GoPro itself? What's your FPV feed like? Is it the quad itself that's causing it? So it could be a few things. Could be the mount, could be the GoPro, could be the quad, or it could be the stabilization that might be causing the issue there. All right. So this one is from Logan Cassidy. So thank you for tagging me. I'm thinking about getting the SkyZone O2Cs, the Mobula 7 and the Tyrannus X Lite. Is there any upgrades worth about the same price that would make a big difference? Nope. The only thing I would say over the Tyrannus X Lite is check out, if you can, the Tango 2, because that is a far superior radio to the Tyrannus X Lite. It might be a little bit more about the 150, and it is also very highly sought after and out of stock, but that is an amazing radio. All right, let me, I just scrolled the mouse and it jumps down way too far. Young Buckets is typing an awful lot in the chat. So try to cram as much info when you can is in one piece here rather than do 20 different lines of chat. Makes it much easier. What happens if you don't have a Part 107 form? I live in the US. I actually don't know. And as a rule, I generally don't comment too much on laws, regulations, guidelines, anything like that. I would say write to your local hobby club and get some advice from there. I don't want to be involved in giving anybody legal advice because I think you can get in trouble if you do that in some states and things like that. So I'm just staying well away from those ones. Lenny Lewis Kenny at UAV Futures. Can you do a speed test on the Eachine Tyro 99? I did do one, but we crashed it into a tree. It was full of snakes, so you guys never got to see that video. And from memory, it wasn't overly impressive. I think it was about the 80 miles per hour, if I had to guess. That's gone back a few years though. Kevin is asking, hey Stu, is a review of the Tiny Hawk 2 race going to be coming out? If not, what is a quiet micro that you could recommend that could handle outside without bothering anyone? Check out if you want to fly around outdoors, I still really like the Mob 7. I think the Mob 7 is fantastic, but the Mobula 6 is great. It's a little bit more of an indoor one. Yeah, I'd look at the Mobula 6 or 7. I think they're good. If you want to do HD, the Beta X65 FPV, it's a very recent video of mine. It's a little blue one. That thing also records with some beautiful footage on board as well. All right, I'm going to answer this super chat from Sky Strider. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated, bro, for that donation there. You'd be amazed what a difference that actually does make when we can't get out and fly. It's very tricky to do my job flying drones outdoors when you are stuck inside. So thank you very much. Your question. I'm wanting to use the Holybro F7 V1 flight controller in my 30x30. Is this a solid choice all around? Do you have any suggestions otherwise? So let's have a Google here, see if we can. I might be able to just copy paste that actually. And Sky Strider, what is it specifically that you want to use this for? Is it just reliability, or what's the deal here? So let's have a look. Which is this one here? So I think you're talking about this flight controller. Looks like it's going to be the same. So it does have a not soft mounted gyro, but a separated gyro. So give me some more information on why you want to choose that. Yes, it is a solid choice. I don't think there'd be anything wrong with it whatsoever. But you also might be able to pick up a Mamba stack, which might be everything. How much is the Mamba stack? Let's see. How much is one of those? So this bad boy right here is only $15 more expensive. I know it's only an F4, but you're probably going to be getting better value out of this one. This is a 50 amp burst. 50 amp is, what's the burst rating? Does it say? 50 amp, peak current 55 amp, so 50 to 55 amp burst. And this one here, you also get your ESC, which is going to save you some money. I know a lot of people like this. It seems to be a very popular choice when it comes to building budget quads that are still a good value all-round choice. This one, I don't think you're going to have any issues whatsoever. The only difference is this is an F4. Your other one is an F7. But let me tell you, that is not something to get overly fixated on. Your flight experience is not going to differ very much whatsoever. And I would say for 90% of pilots out there, whether you're flying an F4 or whether you're flying an F7, the difference is minimal. My quads that I'm flying around, I can hardly tell the difference if it's an F4 and an F7. Maybe I'm just not a pro enough pilot. Maybe I'm just an amateur. Whatever people want to say, all I'm saying is in my 5 years of flying and flying hundreds of different quads, the difference is minimal. I would feel it more by having a different set of props on here, or just a tiny little bit of different camera angle. A small iteration is going to be far more noticeable for a standard racing drone or a standard freestyle drone. Anyone who tells you otherwise better be an FPV absolute god, like an expert. Maybe someone like Granger. Maybe they can feel it in the prop wash or the way it handles something. But for most pilots, you're not going to be tapping out the computing capacities on F4 board anyway. So having F7 is just a little bit of overkill. Think of a good analogy as like, okay, I'm going to take you to a restaurant. It's got really nice food there. I find food analogies work well for people. You walk in, you're like, what's on the buffet today? Let's have a look. Oh, we've got this F4 pizza. I absolutely love F4 pizza. It's this big. Oh, look over here, we've got the F7 pizza. It's this big. You go in there and your stomach says, I'm so hungry, but you can only eat this much pizza. So it doesn't matter whether you eat this much pizza from the F4 slice or this much from the F7, you're still going to have leftover pizza. Your stomach's still going to be full. The same choice when it comes to flying around. Your computing power that your drone uses for a normal racing drone, normal freestyle drone, is still going to be taken care of by an F4 or an F7. And I'm sure, some people will disagree. That's just my opinion. All right. Let's have a look here. And thank you very much for the super chat, brother. Very much appreciated. Camera Addict says, does it matter if you use base flight, beta flight, or clean flight with an ACE32 type boards? They're pretty much the same. And which to use? Camera Addict, what are you doing, brother? Do not use base flight. Do not use clean flight. That tech is so old. The firmware there, the coding, it is terrible. That's what we used to use back in the day. People don't even know what base flight is anymore. I'm sure if let's have a look here. Is it even still being worked on? Base flight configurator. Oh gee, I don't look at this. All right, so you can just see here. Here's a tutorial, 2015 base flight, what to use. So those things there, that's not what you want to be using. So you need to use Betaflight. Why? Because it is a cleaner code that is more efficient, that has been refined for our FPV racing drones. It is by far superior to those other options you've used there. The Betaflight has come from those two. It has Baseflight grew into Clean Flight. Clean Flight grew into Betaflight. Betaflight is where it's at. That's why everybody flies it. They all do pretty much the same. Yeah, you're right. They all are made for flying drones around. But let's say here's another analogy. You have, let's see if we can get another pizza analogy here. Base flight. Someone's like, here's some bread. Oh, that's great. That's base flight. Then someone said, you know what? I'm going to put some cheese on here. Oh, good. That's clean flight. Now you've got cheese and bread. And then someone came around and said, no, boys, that's okay, but let's build on that. Get rid of some of this other stuff. Now we've got bread, cheese. Let's put some tomato sauce on there. Let's put some bacon, some onion, and now we've got a full pizza. Betaflight is your pizza. Clean flight and base flight are just a piece of bread or a piece of buttered toast. Use Betaflight. Radio. Oh, I better answer someone else. So this one's from Gaptoothed Granny. Oh, thank you so much. Again, with the super chat, the weight is 255 grams with the existing motors and prop. Motor and prop combo for maximum flight times with 4S, 650 grams. So also too, if you want to get the most flight times out of it, I would say you need to reduce every single piece of weight that you can. So, does it have a small Velcro strap on there? Is there any extra parts? Make sure you take off all your TPU bumpers, everything like that. But I would say, like some of those motors we had a look on here, maybe even 1407s actually might be a better choice. If we're talking max flight times, some of these flame motors are actually pretty good. And I know one thing that Cal really loves is his XJB, and these XJB motors, they're a little bit smaller, but they're also relatively light, and they have withstood the test of time. And Cal gets crazy flight times on his. I think he only uses a $5. He only uses a 5-minute flight when he's flying around, so you get about 5 minutes. And overall, that for the $8.99, like the $9 buck mark, this motor is absolutely fantastic. Couple this if you want max flight times with some of those lower pitch props, and you are going to be off to the races and having flight times for days. So I would say, but the biggest thing there, if you want flight time, and this goes for anybody, try to reduce the weight as much as you can. Even a 500 milliamp hour battery is going to help you quite a lot. And also, don't go full throttle. So the more you push the throttle on your drone, the less efficient it's going to be in the long run. If you're hovering around the 50% mark, that's probably where you're going to be getting your maximum flight times. You would easily be able to get maybe a 6-minute flight time flying around with, especially with a 255 gram drone. Yeah, you're going to be set. Radio. So max prop and motor combo for maximum flight time with the 4S650. Yeah, try these out, or if you want a little bit more power, try the other motors we talked about, the Zing motors there. They might be the 1507s or something, but and don't go too high in the KV as well. I would really want to go above the. You guys can't see this. Jeez, sorry there. Sorry, Gaptoothed Granny. This is the motor that I was talking about. These right here. So the HG LRC motors. So I don't know. If you need to Google that, that's all I typed in. Was 1407 motor. These were on the front page right here. Don't get these Racer Star motors. They're just going to break. And I have not tried the Micro Ecos as well. All right. We've got quite a few. Oh, Kevin Righty. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. We're getting so many of them pouring in today, actually. I don't know what's going on. Was interested in your opinion on what is the best VTX currently available for medium to long range DDO air unit going to work best, or is there an analog VTX you think is better? Now, this is a good question because we actually did a long range test when it comes to, let me get back to here, when I'm going to say I didn't do it, a long range Tony went out and put some stuff on his wing, and we flew out. We have done over 8 kilometers. He's done over that when he was flying around on his wing using an analog system. But medium to long range is where it changes. If you're talking extreme long range, I would say you are better off with analog and some big helical antennas. So something like a TBS that's cranking out the legally highest possible milliwatts that you're allowed to do in your country. So flying that thing around. But if you're going to go medium, I feel like in my general everyday flying, when I'm flying, if I fly a little bit further than usual, I've never had so much confidence as when I'm flying around with the DJI system using the DJI link as well, because it doesn't seem to drop out and it seems much more reliable, and I get less breakup in that medium range in my everyday flying than I do on almost all my analog quads. The only time when the analog excels over it is when I've got an actual dedicated big ground station and it's focused in one area and I'm flying in a clear line of sight, long, like in a long range kind of thing where you're not flying behind buildings, trees, you are just going long range. Maybe if you're going to go up to the top of a mountain, there was nothing obstructing your way. But other than that, if it's just medium, close range to medium to a little bit long, I would say DJI is going to be a little bit better. So hopefully that's going to help there. And one big advantage too of the analog system though is that you can put some big helicals on and get a very, very strong beam. And I believe you can do that with DJI as well, but I have not tested it because they use left-hand polarized and I don't have any left-hand polarized patches. So you could change the antennas that come with the DJI system. It's just I haven't done that yet. So I can't comment on the extreme long range with how a DJI goes when you put on a patch antenna. But based on my experience with their normal antennas, they're pretty awesome. So I would say, yeah, for medium to long range, probably DJI. Extreme long range, I'd be going back to analog. Alrighty-yo. Let's have a look here. And just thank you so much, Laser Z Ryan, aka D's Nuts said. Thank you very much for that $1 donation, brother. Very much appreciated. David Brown. Okay. This is all in caps. I have a Zero Explorer UAV. It's a camera platform with unmarked motors that need replacing. Is there a way to physically measure the motor to get a ballpark size and KV? All right, so we're going to Google this right now and find out what this is. Okay, Zero Explorer. Let me know if this is the one that we're going to be looking at. Is this it, David Brown? So it doesn't have any motors on here, but I wonder if there's something in the specifications in here. All right. I hate, just give me some easy to read stats, please. Futuristic. I don't want to learn about the design. Okay, maybe someone, let's go back here. So I don't know about physically measuring it because you really would probably have to take it apart, and I don't know if I would feel comfortable doing that. All right, the RC Sailors look like they're flying one. Let's see, do these guys have a spec link somewhere? I'll put the sound off. I don't want to get demonetized for some sort of copyright claim here. Okay, those KVs, I would say they are definitely, they would put, and someone can help me out here, I'm sure in the description. Actually, I have a motor, bear with me. I'm going to go and see if I can read what one of those motors is. It's a large 450 platform. This looks like it'll be somewhere in the middle, so bear with me. I'm sure it's going to be a much lower KV motor than what we use on our race drones. Give me 2 seconds. All right, so the motor I was looking at, it had much bigger props than this, and it was about a 920. So logic would say you're probably going to be looking at a 1400 kV. So I'm not, sorry, I can't help you too much. I know it's not really an FPV racing drone, but I would say, yeah, and that one, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe something around the 1400 kV size. But you actually would be able to probably replace those motors if you could just solder them in. And if they're going the incorrect way, all you have to do to make sure the motors spin around the right way is swap them over. Now, the problem with using drones like that one is that I'm not sure what firmware they'd be running. They're not running I don't think they'd be running something that's open source. When do the RC flyers say fly it? They might have a link as well. If it just had a product description page, it would be so much easier. Currently unavailable. Yeah, sorry about that one, David Brown. I I can't answer your question in terms of I could say can you measure it? Yes, you probably can. Do I know how to measure it and open up a motor and find out the status size and get the KV based on their windings? No, I do not know how to do that. If I had to guess though, I would say probably about a 1400 kV. Yeah, and also too, you would, if you're going to be replacing them, make sure you replace all 4 motors. Don't just buy one motor and replace that one. You would need to replace all 4 as well. So that would be my advice. Hopefully that answered some of your questions. Sorry if I couldn't give you the exact. I thought I'd be able to find the exact one, but it seems like they haven't spec'd that out in here. Okay, and Chief a lot is saying Rush tank has a good VTX also. Yep, talking about that long range question. This is a lot of questions still coming in, so thank you very much for everybody. Blow up the Cron. There we go. So at UAV Futures, miss you guys. I wish you all the best. I want to give a shout out to that boy because, or man, I should say, that bloke. Talked to him quite a lot on Discord there. The link is going to be up there somewhere down below. Another great guy I've chatted to quite a bit. Him and his son. I hear him and I hope your son's doing well. In the background, he used to always be in there. And I enjoyed listening to your accent. What are you talking about? Everything about up there in Canada. I should never do that accent again. I've decided I won't. I won't do that. All right. Lockboy J, love your channel. I bought all the parts for 115 mile per drone. I've been watching your channel since 2017. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're still enjoying it, enjoying the skies. That's what the channel is all about. It's about getting people flying, enjoying the hobby, sharing the passion. It is life changing, changed my life, and that's what I want other people to have. That's my mantra. It's life changing. Everybody should be able to enjoy this hobby. All right. Let's have a look here. At Bradley Lots at UAV Futures, are you going to keep doing freestyle? You're a great pilot. Keep it up, Brosef. Love your videos. So lots of love and support coming in here. Thank you very much. I don't know about being a great pilot. I think the most important thing people can do when they go flying is just have fun. That is the number one priority. When you go out there and you're flying, it doesn't matter whether you're the world's Johnny FPV, superstar pilot, or whether you're someone flying around who's just a newcomer and you are struggling on the sticks. The most important thing to learn and do is to have fun, enjoy being flying. Don't compare yourself to too much others, and fly what you like to fly. So for me, talking about getting into freestyle, I really loved when I first started flying. Well, first, when I first started flying, I loved any type of flying, but then I loved track flying. So I put some gates up. It wasn't about the races. It was about just, time trials, putting myself on the spot, battery after battery, lap after lap, just zoom, 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 go, go, go. How fast could I rip around the UAV Futures test track? That's what I was all about. Then when my environment changed, we moved to somewhere else, and I guess it was that spot where we used to fly changed up a little bit. You can no longer really fly there in the same sort of track. It's more of a freestyle spot, but isn't as good as some of my other freestyle spots. So now I've been flying around freestyle a lot more, and I forced myself to do I did a 30-day of freestyle challenge, and you see some of these videos coming out. Those videos are like about a 6-month progression there, but I do feel like I enjoy freestyle a bit more. I started to learn some of the things a bit more, and I sat down and I assessed what I was doing, what did I want to accomplish, and that fun kind of changed a little bit. No longer did I want to go out and set gates up. I really was just enjoying freestyle, flying around, being free, and I feel like freestyle is something that I'm going to continue to keep doing, but that doesn't mean if I want to change back into racing, I might get into racing in the future. I might get back into lap flying, all that sort of stuff. You never really know what your flying style is going to be like in a couple of months from now. If you're flying all the time, for me, it was just I don't know, whatever I enjoy at the moment, that's what I want to fly. Now, on that note, what I'm going to say, we're going to watch one of my freestyle videos where I have a quick loo break. Drunk way too much of this soda water here. Let's have a look. Here we go. 30 days of freestyle, and this is the spot I was talking about as well. Where flying this around, this is where it kind of changed as well.
This could almost be a dream. This is one of those spots you dream about. Of just look at the sunset too. Look at this. Like, what a perfect setting. The first time I've ever come here, I went on a little bit of a recce, a bit of a mission. It's easy for me to get here from my house. It's super close. Takes about 2 minutes. Nobody is ever going to come here, and look at it. It's like the spacing here. Even though I'm not into freestyle, I want to do freestyle here. I'm going to learn because I feel like why this is here before it gets demolished and all turned into houses. This is what we dream about, guys. Spots like this. So, I don't know. Beautiful. Let's do it. Let's rip a pack, see what it's like. See, even though my freestyle's terrible, let's just go for a bit of a spin and just see what I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive about this place. I want to do freestyle, and I'm going to learn to do it here. I'll take you on the journey. Let's see what happens.
Radio, here we go, and this is going to be a bit of a different one because, believe it or not, this video was actually filmed kind of last winter when I first discovered this spot, and I didn't know what a special place this was going to be, and it was kind of the start of a bit of an adventure. So this is day 1 of my 30 days of freestyle challenge. I didn't know it at the time, but this is where I decided I was going to do a lot of packs, try to improve my freestyle because I discovered this amazing spot, and luckily for you guys, I recorded all these flights. So for the next couple of days, I'm going to be releasing some videos of pretty much me learning to fly freestyle. You can see it's very rough here at the start, and just kind of talking about the lessons that I have. And I used to fly a lot of track flying, and I never thought I was really into freestyle, but once I found this spot, things kind of have started to change. It's going to be interesting. You can kind of see the progress that we make over the series of this video, and might be good for some people as well. If you're stuck indoors and you can't get out flying, well, you still might be able to get your FPV fix watching this. So the gear's probably going to change. And where'd we get up to? The hardest part about, we almost ran out of time there. The hardest part about that is your toddler asking you, can we go to the park? And you have to explain that, nope, sorry, you're doing some work. They don't quite understand. All right, let's go to this. I'll get rid of this freestyle video I've got over here. You're going to see the and back to answering some of your questions. If you threw a question in there and I missed it, I'm going to be scrolling up and down trying to find some of these. Austin Nuns at UAV Futures. Do you think that cine whoops like the iFlight Green Hornet or the Diatone Tycoon are good platforms to learn FPV on? Yes and no, and I'll explain why in a second. You get a sore throat actually after talking this much. Maybe it's just Corona coming in. But yes, because they're very robust and they really can take a beating. They are safe to crash into things. But on the flip side, they don't feel like a normal flying craft, like in terms of an FPV rig or a racing rig. It's not something that I would choose as a beginner to fly around on for the feeling of flight. You are much better suited to get something like the iFlight Nazgul, whatever it's going to be, and then fly around with that sort of a drone made for flying FPV. versus flying around with the cine whoops or whatever it is, because they're made for filming. That's if you just want to do flying, jump on the sim and have a normal 5-inch flying drone. That's where you're going to learn the most. All right, Ryu at UAV Futures. Is a Sky Zone O2Cs worth my pocket money? Well, I'd never want to tell anybody how to spend their money, but if it was my choice and I had to buy, if someone took all my goggles away and then went, all right, and let's just say I have a normal average American income wage working the normal job of 9 till 5. How much is my money worth? And if it was based on that, I would say I would buy the Sky Zone O2Cs. Yeah, so I don't know. For me, they're the ones I would buy if I had to go and get some new goggles. Big Willie FPV wants to say, I'm by no means a great FPV pilot, but I have tons of fun flying these drones. I have 3 FPV drones. I bought 2 of them because of review. Thanks, man. Glad you're enjoying the hobby. Trust me, you need to be a bit careful, though, when it comes to this. I'm going to say almost an addiction. First it started, I'm just going to have one drone I'm going to fly around. Then I'm just going to buy a couple of spares. Now, if I just get a spare frame, well, I could probably build up a second drone. Yeah, I'm just going to have a whole second drone. You know what? Now I want to go out with 2 drones just in case the first one breaks because I love this hobby so much. I might just get a spare motor just in case one of these 2 breaks. Oh, now I've got a wall of quads behind me. Help, what do I do? So yeah, definitely everybody I'm sure has a lot of drones. It's a slippery slope once you get on it and you realize how much fun it is. Definitely a lot of people end up with a lot of drones. Monkey Boy Stew, have you played the unreleased Rota game? Would you be interested in trying it? Send me an email, brother. I have no idea what you're talking about in terms of Rota game. Is it like a sim? Don't know any more than that comment right there. Let's have a look. Michael Ma at UAV Futures. What is your opinion on the Tyrannus X9 Lite? I wish you the best. So thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Kind words. I wish you the best too, and everybody who's watching. I would say the Tyrannus X9 Lite, it's okay. I prefer the Tango 2. The reason I don't like FreeSky at the moment is because of their new protocol. I feel like I've had nothing but problems with the AAST or Access or whatever they've kind of switched it over to. I've got a lot of D8 quads that it just will not bind up to. They want you to buy an external module, and it's not a bad radio, but it hasn't done right by its consumers and those people who have bought into the FreeSky ecosystem. So for me, I would say save up a little bit more, try to get the Tango 2. But if you have one, that's fine. And if you're just starting out and that's all you're going to buy is stay in that ecosystem, at the moment it is, it's still an absolutely a rock solid radio. And I'd probably be my second choice after that one, after the Tango 2. All right, Chad Hollis, I don't know if I answered your questions, getting a thumbs up there, I'm not too sure. Scrolling up there. If you remember to tag me as well at UAV Futures, it makes it so much easier for me to see your questions. And sorry if I missed a few when I ran to the loo there. All right, Nikita Dabrowski. Hopefully, I feel like I pronounced that pretty well. I have some old components. I want to build a large drone for cinematic purposes. The flight computer is a CC3D. Is that still any good? If so, what program should I use to calibrate it? Here. You should not use it. That is the short answer to that. CC3D was the flight control that came with my first ever build. I got rid of it because it was already becoming out of date then, and I put in a Naze 32. So I think it was a revision 5. It cost me about $70, and it came soldered with the pins on the board. The CC3D, nope, it is not good. Do yourself a favor, spend $20, get an F4 flight controller. I don't know about how they handle large cinematic purposes, but I would, in my experience, I feel comfortable with some of those flight controls over the CC3D. I don't even know what program you use to calibrate it. I think it morphed into something else because we had this dodgy drone that came with it that Trevor tried to set up. It spun around in circles and then crashed and never flew again. But yeah, the programs to calibrate the CC3D, I think are obsolete, might not even be online anymore, as far as I know. Andre Fenlon, UAV Futures, your flying is really great, man. Blew up 2 flight controllers today because I'm stupid, including the one I use for my FPV simulator, so everything is on hold for 10 to 20 days. That's not good. Is there any way you might be able to get a cable if depending on what flight control you're using, you might be able to just plug that USB cable straight into your radio. If you've got a more advanced radio, if you're just flying around with a El Cheapo radio like the FSI 6A, it's not going to work. All right, Captain Sunday wants to know what's my thoughts on the Ethics Erat Frame. Let's have a look here. Let's have a bit of a Google for you guys and find out what that's going to be. Doesn't look too bad. I'll throw it up on the screen in a second. We're going to be checking out Phaser FPV if that ever loads. All right, so this actually does look pretty cool. Yes, it's $70. I don't know if that's Australian. Hopefully, looks like it might be Aussie. So what is it, a 3-inch with some protectors? Oh. Okay. Yeah, it looks alright, I guess. I wonder if those TPU parts come with it. I would hope so. Or do you have to print them yourself? Let's go on HQ props. I can only seem to find it on Phaser, but yeah, it looks okay, I guess. Why, are you going to be buying one sometime soon? SST FPV, really contemplating a DJI setup. Well, I think a lot of people are. It's definitely a very enjoyable experience. If I was going to go and fly out just for fun, that's probably what I'd be packing. And it's very easy too. If you're going to, one thing I do like about DJI, if you're flying around with other DJI pilots, you can all just plug in and it just does its magic and sorts itself out. Whereas with analog, there's a lot of channel juggling of what channel are you on, what channel are you on, let me get that sorted, hang on, let me change mine. DJI just does kind of work with that. So that's a nice little addition as well. All right. Let's have a look. So Lewis Hertro, oh, you're answering someone else's question. Thank you for answering. You answered my question perfectly. I appreciate it. Ah, no worries, Austin. I'm glad you did, man. Let's have a look here. What's the best sim right now from Farhad Khan? Best always needs a clarifier. I'm going to say I really enjoy the DCL sim, but there's also Liftoff, Velocidrone, another popular ones, FPV Air 2, Freerider. Carlos D at UAV Futures. Oh, about the GoPro. The feed is perfect. It's the iFlight, okay, with Zing's GoPro Hero 5. Okay, so if it's the Hero 5, what's causing your issues is you've got stability on the GoPro. Turn that off, and I guarantee it will reduce the jello, and you'll be like, man, why didn't I do this before? Bit of a trick, I think, when GoPro first released their stabilization, it was terrible for drones. I definitely turn that stability off, and you'll find you'll probably get silky smooth footage. And then email me. I'd be really interested to let me know how it goes. Maybe do a before and after so I can see. All right. It looks like someone, I don't know, it's Japanese, so I can't read your name, but he's 8 quads deep. Fantastic. Hi, UAV Futures. You start this one's from Stewie FPV, and I absolutely love your name, mate. Well done. I wonder, is it actually pronounced, how do you spell it? Is it Stewart or is it STU? And is it your first name? Because my name is spelled Stewart, and I've only ever met one other person who was spelled that way. And all the time I was like, thanks, Mum, for spelling it that way. Whenever I have to spell my name to someone on the phone or on a form, how do you spell that? Is it STU? No, Mum spelled it this way. Anyway, you started my passion in FPV drone racing when I bought your Tyro 999 ages ago. Thank you. No worries, brother. That was a very budget quad. I don't think it was quite as good as the UAV Futures $99 quad. Definitely very budget, but if it started your passion and you're enjoying it now, that's the main thing. If you can get budget quads serve more than a purpose than just flying. They give people a taste into what to grow into. So a lot of people always get upset. Why are you doing this cheap thing? Why are you doing just the $99 bill? Why don't you review something like this? Or the Armaton Marmot. Yeah, I do review those amazing premium quads all the time, but these budget ones, they get people in the door. They start flying. They have a good time. And if I review it and it's not a good quad, and then you're like, well, don't get this one, that also saves people from jumping in and having a bad experience. But if you can do a review and it's a budget thing and it works well, it may be like the $99 build, they can build it themselves. They feel amazing for not only building something, but they get to see their own creation in the air, flying around. They learn a lot. They know how to fix it. And yeah, I'm kind of proud of those budget entry videos to get people into the hobby. I would be very interested if I could ask Google, or, at the end of my time, when my time is up, and if I move on from this plane and they say, hey, you got one question, what do you want the answer to? Do you want the meaning of life? No. I'd just be interested, how many people did my video help get into FPV? Give me that percentage number on the community. That would be something I feel like I would be quite proud of. 507 RC, there's no best sim, but the Curry Kitten Quad Sim is free and you get to chase cars or bash beach balls. All right, I've never even heard of that. Hi, at UAV Futures. I've got a new pair of goggles, the Sky O2s, and I'm seeing double vision. Is there anything I can do to that? Yes. What you have it in 3D mode, Michael Bennett. So what you need to do in one of the modes, I think it's on the left-hand side, you can change it. So there's 3D mode, 2V, 2D racing, HDMI mode. Change that. It's going to put it back into single focus. So there you go. Your goggles are not broken. Fear not. Well done for tuning in and getting that question answered. That might help some other people out there, but it's great when I feel like I can answer a question, bang, on the spot. There, that's what's great about live streams. Can help you out. Yeah, change it so 3D mode is not on. People just talking about a liftoff. Alrighty, Codemaster, are you going to review the new Radio Master TX? Yeah, well, I guess when it gets here, I definitely will. What I think about it, I think it'll be okay, very similar to the Jumper TX. Will you make a drone under $99 in 2020? Possibly. Samuel Pullman. Carlos D, thank you so much for answering my questions. Okay, no worries. Cool. That's the one who was asking, I think, about the GoPro footage and why it was all jello-y. At UAV Futures from David Glenn. Best for video work, bonus points if a cheap one. I need more information, David Glenn. I don't know what best for video work means. Like, am I talking about editing? What am I filming? Flying? Give me as much information as you can. Corpse FPV says, I'm looking for a budget 6-inch racing kit. Do you have any recommendations? My first question would be, if you're getting a budget one, why does it have to be 6-inch? Maybe just get something like the Nazgul, which is an amazing cheap kit that is really a good freestyler and a racer. But as far as the 6-inch kit itself, that's probably not very common. And I really wouldn't even know where to start looking for a 6-inch kit in general, let alone a budget one. So then probably just eBay, bangers. You might have to just source all the parts yourself if you want to build a 6-inch, because they're definitely far less, maybe like a ratio of 1 6-inch to every 5 inches out there. We're getting some information. Next time you do a live stream, change YouTube settings to lower latency. 30 seconds of live latency is too much for Q&A. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you for that feedback. I will try that for sure. Have I ever designed my own frame? Nope, I have not, Bradley. All right, Ghost Rider, Electric Tiger, so against you. Do you think, make sure you tag me with that UAV Futures, it helps me answer your questions. Do you think fellow flyers should give you a tag nickname? Oh, maybe, I guess so. I guess some of my other mates, we've got Grumpy Trev, Crash Test Cal, Ranger FPV, I don't know, the kid, I'm not too sure, Wingman Tony, Long Range Tony, Wingman Jono, I guess what they call me, Stu. Yeah, I don't know, what nicknames could I have in here? David Glenn, I have to remember at FPV camera. Sorry, please, I pressed enter too quick. I got to go find best for video. Okay, so you want to know what is the best FPV camera that you should be getting? I really like the Cadex Ratel. I think it's Cadex that makes that, but the Ratel FPV camera looks really nice. It's got nice colors. It's got good dynamic range. I enjoy that one. And Boric Quad FPV wants to say, at UAV Futures, the GoPro footage on the 5 should be better with an ND filter. Yes, actually, you know what? I might be able to answer questions quicker. I've got 2 windows here. I'm watching my stream back. Maybe the questions come up better in my Let's see here if they're actually up to the same part. And hopefully I don't click end stream. So if you guys, oh no, they seem to be fairly, let me have a look here. Happy Pineapple. I'll wait till the next comment pops up on both of these and then I'll be able to find out which one is a little bit better. Someone type a comment, please. Hit the thumbs up or say whatever you need to say. All right, we've got 112 people watching and only 47 people have hit that thumbs up button. I promise it won't hurt that much. All right, let's have a look here. It seems to be, here we go. See, they're actually coming up here quicker than if they, yeah, oh, it feels like it was doing the right thing. I'm going to minimize that so I don't accidentally click the wrong stream button. Right, Happy Pineapple wants to know suggestions for a budget FPV drone in Australia. I have a radio link transmitter and no other equipment. So, a budget FPV drone, one that's worth it, Nazgul. I don't know if it's in Australia, actually. Let's have a look here. Nazgul iFlight Oz. cheapdrones.com.au. What? Never heard of this site. But if you Google, there you go. I don't know. I've never heard of this site before, but probably, there you go. Maybe that one. Just have a bit of a Google. But the iFlight Nazgul is a really good priced quad that you're going to get a lot of mileage out of as well. All right, Andrew Nelson, just got into FPV. Love all the info I get from you. I just downloaded Velocidrone. What do you suggest for practicing? Stick time. Just, they've got tracks on there. Just fly, fly, fly. So Andrew, thanks so much for those kind words. The best thing you can do right now if you've gotten into this hobby, just plug your radio in, fly around. You can connect your goggles, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Just fly around, practice your stick time, try some maneuvers, try and hit gates. If you've got a target, it is much better for your brain to learn to go through a specific goal rather than just going up into the air, doing flippy floppies. There's no real consequences up there. Oh, I rolled this way. You're not going to learn anything. It's the same in real life or on the sim. See, okay, there is a gate. I'm going to train my brain to try to fly through that track, go through that gate. That's what you need to be doing. Set yourself those goals. I also have a flight school video playlist somewhere. If you Google that, Google UAV Futures Flight School, and it takes you from just hovering to split S's to hitting gates, speeding up, maintaining altitude, all that sort of stuff. There's a whole bunch of maneuvers. If anybody hasn't seen those, you Google UAV Futures Flight School. I feel like we just answered Corpse FPV. He's just asking about, oh, that's because I scrolled up. Okay. There's a lot of questions here. What brand is best for a lithium high voltage 450 1 cell or 2 cell? I don't actually know, because high voltage is something that in my experience has died a lot quicker than if just using normal lipos. And especially a 1S that big, I don't know. I don't have any experience. Oh, 450. So hang on. I'm getting confused. I was thinking of a totally... Okay, what's the best brand for lithium high voltage? Talking about a 1 cell, I would say the Emax ones. They're not too bad. We're talking 1 cell. You're not going to notice too much of a difference, and especially in such a small battery. So something like this. The GMB batteries, or also I think the UAV 450 batteries are relatively cheap. That's these ones. I've used these quite a lot. So these packs are right here. This is, I don't know, just charge them up. They're fairly cheap at a couple of bucks a pop. Doesn't matter what happens to them. It depends what you want them for. But yeah, just getting these as a 1S. I've used quite a few of these. I don't know what I was thinking about when I was reading that out. I started answering a totally different question. I was thinking of a much larger battery, 1,400 milliamp hour. Codemaster, what drone can you recommend which supports 3S 650 milliamp batteries? I have 2 batteries, but not a drone. Oh, 3S. Let's see, 650. Maybe something like one of the... Okay, I know. What was it called? The Skip. Skip from Gap RC. This. Here you go. And this one also records in HD. That's not a bad price at the moment either. So that's a good one if you had some batteries to fly that thing around with. Okay, people want to know what is the time here. It's 8:30 p.m. in India. PM. I think AM maybe there. I think India's behind us. So it is 1:10 in the afternoon right here. Hey from Indianapolis. What do you think is the best nighttime camera? I've learned a lot from your channel. Stay safe. So that's from Mr. Indy Jones. Jones SCJ or CJ. Okay. Nighttime camera. I don't actually have enough experience to comment on that from what I've heard. There might be one called the Starlight, but as far as flying around at nighttime, I don't have any first-hand experience with any nighttime flying, except for years and years ago when it was with an old run cam camera, but it would not be it would not be recommended nowadays with how much camera technology has changed. Finn just got in here from lunch. I'd love to know what you guys think about the stream as well. I'm thinking about doing one tomorrow, so I don't know how this timing works for everybody. I don't know what the time is in the US. Let me know. It's probably people's bedtimes there, actually. All right. What's a good beginner transmitter so I can use a sim? Tango 2. I just answered this one. Okay. People telling me it's... Yeah, I know what the time is. If you're in Australia, I got it. It's 1:10 in the afternoon. All right, someone's spamming quite a bit. I'm gonna have to just put this person on hold just a little bit. There we go. Is it possible to use a Bluetooth camera, or would the latency be too much? From David Glenn. I feel like if you're doing FPV racing or freestyle, Bluetooth is not an option. You really need one of our dedicated FPV cameras with VTXs. Otherwise, it's just going to be far too much latency. I don't even know how your range would go as well on Bluetooth. All right. I feel like I've scrolled past quite a bit here. The screen's jumping all over the place. Mia CV, thanks for your work, man. As a video producer, though, I notice sometimes your flying footage looks a bit off. Was wondering what frame rates you're filming at. Usually it's at 60 frames in the field, but sometimes when I'm rendering, I always forget to change it because my camera in the studio is at 30 frames per second. So that's probably where the difference is. And it's tricky to match those two up when you've got your roof camera. You want to make sure that's why I had to go out and buy the exact same camera twice. So I've got my roof camera, which is a Canon 600D, I think, if that's from memory. And then I've got my face camera, which is the same. And then you've got to mix that in with whatever you're filming out in the field, whether that be the DVR, whether that be the GoPro footage. Sometimes that's filmed in 4K. If I use my session, it's filmed in 1080. So yeah, usually I just try to marry everything up to my footage that I've used as the face camera and the roof cam, because that never changes. All right. Starlight is top notch, so thanks very much. The Ghost Rider that's answering about the FPV camera at nighttime, commenting and saying the Starlight is good. The Toothless, yes, people have also spoken about that. People watching in from Quebec. All right, here we've got some questions. Samuel Pullman, is the $99 build of 2018 still a good choice, or should I consider something else? I feel like if you want to build your own, you're going to be hard pressed. Maybe you want to put, there is some updates in that video in the description, things like the Mamba stack. Make sure you read the description of those videos. It has been updated a little bit, but I think if you're trying to build a quad for $99 nowadays, you don't get that much more than if you just go out and buy one yourself. And also some of those prices have changed, but the components haven't moved on to where for 2020 it's going to be an entirely new build where everything is totally different. Maybe you might want to put some eco motors on there, but if you want to build your own, it's still not a terrible choice, but there's some upgrades you could probably do for maybe like getting a better VTX that's going to cost you more money, or if you just want to get a bind and fly one, something like we've spoken about a few times, the Nazgul. You can't really beat the Nazgul for jumping in and for having a pre-build anyway, where you don't have to do anything and it just works. All right, Scott Wilson, new to FPV. I have a Wizard X220 and DX6i and a CM703 and just binded. I'm getting no response from the drone though. What do I do? So I don't know what Wizard you've got, and I have no experience with the DX6i, but I would say first things first, you need to check what protocols it's using, what ports is it connected to, what have you selected in fits in the little drop down. If it's using a, what's it called when you're selecting like S bus or I bus or all that sort of things, you need to make sure that that is enabled. Also check your mapping on your receiver tab. Jump over to your receiver tab in Betaflight, find out exactly what it's doing. Does it need to be powered on when you're doing it as well? So there's quite a few things you need to check. UAV Futures, Happy Pineapple, opinion on Bite Frost. Not very good, but I don't have one. They're not going to send me one of those. So looks like it was just a product that wasn't developed fully in the right amount of time and will require a heck of a lot more money, which is not going to come from the sales that it produces. Cody wants to know, what's your favorite toothpick setup for ESC, FC, motors, VTX camera? And he's saying it's APM in Canada. You know what? I quite like the Avant little micro toothpick that I flew around. There was actually like a Biner fly that had that thing absolutely ripped for freestyle also, or maybe for more racing. It was just insanely fast. Or the Armaton toothpick I thought was a great little frame as well. Armaton, what's it called? Armaton Tadpole was an awesome little one as well. You can see both those reviews on my channel. So they're probably some of my favorite flying ones. Also, though, I got to say that this one did fly really nicely, and it records HD. There's also a video of that. Well, feels very similar when it comes to toothpick sizes. Ken Santos, do you think you're better off starting FPV with a Cinewhoop? Nope. I think they are made specifically first and foremost for filming. So if you're going to be learning to fly, do it on a quad that is actually made for flying around. Cinewhoops are made for filming, flying second. Do one's made for flying, it comes first. What would David Glenn, another question, would a GoPro be the best non-FPV camera on a drone? In terms of like recording, yes. In terms of using it to, yeah, for non-FPV, yeah, I think so. Challenge Accepted is saying, at UAV Futures, buying quads is an addiction. I've flown one pack and my flight controller broke. I already want more of them. Yep, that's what it's like. That's the worst part. You get home, pretty much I don't even factor it in. When I used to be flying when I was a beginner, I'd be like, this just broke. I've already spent that money in the car ride home in my mind. Okay, I need to buy a new flight controller. I don't want this to happen twice. I don't have to pay twice postage. I better buy 2 flight controllers. 1NZD. Hey Stu, have you heard about the new TX16 collaboration with TBS? No, I have not heard about that collaboration, but that would be interesting. I want to just give a shout out to Ghost Rider. Sorry, man, if I'm posting too fast. Mate, post as much as you like, people, please. As long as you're putting as much information as you can in percent per post, it's fine. That's what this is all about. It's all about engaging with you guys, answering your questions. Excited to catch you live. You really helped me fall in love with FPV, not the builds, but the enthusiastic attitude. Thank you, because that's something that's been important to me. So I know you always are talking about tech and developments and flying and those things, but the feeling you get when you're flying and with your mates, I want people to be able to see that. And when they watch my videos and see how excited I am, you guys know how much I love this hobby. 4 years later, still making content, still just as passionate as ever about FPV and the community and the people. And, I want you guys to have that as well. But yeah, that's important. That I know a lot of other people sometimes, or people who make content focus on some of the drama or some of the negatives, and that's not what mine's about as well. Just focus on those positives and what you love. I love FPV, and it makes it easy to do your job. I couldn't do this job. I couldn't wake up and be like, oh, I've got to go film drones if I didn't love it. If I didn't have this attitude of, from my very core of how much I love these stupid little flying toys right here, you wouldn't be able to do it. So it's easy for me to be enthusiastic about something when you love it. So I don't know. Thank you very much for those kind words. Hopefully it's helped some of you guys stay motivated and encouraged you to, I'm going to pick my radio back up again. If you haven't, if you might have been out of the loop for a little while, you see some of my videos, think, yeah, that's so much fun. I should really pick my radio up again. That's the aim of my channel. It's just to get you guys in the air, having fun. Let's have a look here. Props Off is talking about the Toothless Nano was looked at by Nick Burns and looks very good. I enjoyed the night LED racing. So there you go. So the Toothless might also be good. I know Raven FPV has been talking about the Toothless actually. That has reminded me. Happy Pineapple, UAV Futures, the starter Tiny Whip. The Mobula 6 is amazing. Check this bad boy out. Actually, even better, we're going to watch a super high production video. I love this drone. Look at this, hands down. Even the title says perfect. I've got to get rid of this ad. What are we watching?
Excuse me, ma'am. What you
Some
doing
ads
over
here.
there?
And this is the second time I've recorded which has
Let's jump to the flight footage. Here we go. We'll check this out. And then I'm going to answer David Jelly's question. Thank you very much for the super chat, David. I will be with you in 2 seconds. Look how messy this is, and you can just make the racetrack out of anything. This is just cruising around, finding spots, nothing. Look at it. Planned here. I'm just finding little gaps and shooting through them. This thing was so much fun. This is just out of the box. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of this thing. I know Trevor's going to be quite impressed when we hand it over to him, and you can see what he thinks as well. But overall, congratulations to Happy Model, the Mob 6. They are absolutely smashing it. Yeah, come on, you crumpy bugger. Give it back. Alrighty, let's answer some more questions here. So, David Jelly, thanks for getting me into drones. Been a sub for a while. Anybody getting epic footage of empty roads other than me from Denver? So, David, we're not even allowed out. So, in Australia, I can't go out and fly around and film anything. So, I'm definitely not getting any footage. But I have seen some pictures. I think it was in Miami. I don't know if I could be wrong here because I'm not up with different cities and states and what places look like in America. But I think there might have been like does Miami have a lot of really cool street art and graffiti on a lot of the walls and the shops, and they were flying around, and yeah, it seemed like it was like a ghost town. There was absolutely no one around. So I know some people in some places of the world have been getting out going for a fly, but for me, I haven't been getting out doing any. But thank you very much, and that's because I don't want to get a huge $1,000 fine for breaking out, not curfews, but I don't know what you call it, our quarantine laws or whatever's happening in this country. But thank you so much for that super chat. Very much appreciated. We got Ben Sweetman in here. He loves the toothless camera. And I want to give a shout out to Ben. Good bloke. Met him in real life. Gone flying with him. Thumbs up to him. All right. David has been flying from the porch as well. So yeah, that sounds pretty nice. You know, that is one thing I'm really jealous of Bardwell's videos. He can just have everything set up there. He doesn't have to pack a flight bag to go review something. He just opens the door, walks out there. I would actually have all my stuff sitting out if I was Bardwell. I would just have a little bench, or almost like one of those little kitchen windows maybe. You open it up and you can go flying straight from there, and he can just rip around through his trees. I don't know why he doesn't have any gates or anything like that set up, but for me, I've got to pack the bag, get in the car, go for a bit of a trek anyway till we can go flying. All right, let's have a look here. Ray Kettler, and make sure you tag me as well at UAV Futures. If you're putting a comment in, it makes it, if you want me to answer that comment or read it out loud, because it makes it so much easier for me to, I guess, identify those questions. They come with a bright little tag on there for me. So, Ray Kettler, what do I need to get the Diatone GTR 349 and the Turnigy Evolution flying together? You need to put in a receiver that is compatible with the Turnigy Evo. So that's probably going to be an iFlight receiver. Sometimes they're a little bit big. I think there was the i86, but make sure that's a tiny little one. You need to find some room on the GTR 349 because there's not too much room in that quad as well. So you need to bind those up. And you might need to solder it to a different UART depending if it's using iFlight or however you're connecting. If the traditional one is on an inverted S-bus. It's a lot of information to take back, but if you watch the stream back, hopefully that should help you. And Raven187, there you are. I can add you as a moderator actually, is saying, and now there's a toothless too. Okay, any chance of doing some multiplayer races going on the sim sometime on stream? Yeah, maybe. I think so. For me, one problem I find though, if I'm going to be flying around the sim, it's very tricky for me to be answering the questions, and maybe at the end of the stream we could do some chill outs in the future and just flying around having fun, but I like to be able to answer the questions, type some stuff up. If I get on the sim, I'm really bad at it. Bad at the sim, and also bad at just getting like tunnel vision, focusing on one thing. If there's a screen there with some video playing, I can't help but kind of just stare and zone out at it. And I remember this, we're about to get a bit sentimental, but when I first started dating my wife, we'd go out to like some dinners and restaurants or whatever it be. I would have to, if there was some place with, like, say you're in a pizza cafe and there was like a TV up on the wall, it didn't matter what was on that. I had to sit on the other side so I couldn't see it, and I'd just say, look, I'm really sorry, because otherwise I'd just start phasing out. And Stuart, what? Sorry, yeah. What are we talking about? So yeah, if I was trying to do a live stream and a sim and answering questions and Google stuff, the stream would just it really would suffer. All right. Bradley Lols. I have a 2-story house and launch outside my window and fly my Beta FPV 85X HD around my yard. Gets the job done. That does sound cool. Hopefully you got a nice yard to fly it around with as well. $1 New Zealand, one NZD. I wonder if that's all I think of when I see your name, New Zealand dollar. Should Corona settle down by Christmas and we get a vaccine, would you consider attending the 2021 Avalon Air Show on Feb 26? Absolutely. I went there last time. You can see one of my favorite videos was this bad boy. Army drone. And I don't know how this got 900,000 views. It's ridiculous. It did take a lot of work though, but you can see here, go and watch this video. We got some kind of exclusive access to check out some really cool stuff at the Avalon Air Show. This video went here with Wingman Jono, got to take the crew. Some of the best times I've had meeting people in the aviation industry, but there wasn't so much FPV flying on this one. It's just a really cool, fun video. It was a lot of fun even to edit, go there with my mates. I would absolutely love to go back and check some stuff out. All right, so let's have a look here, but we'll have to see if Corona settles down. Press this button and we're back. Asking for the second time. So this one's from Mali Aleppo. So thank you very much for that donation there. Very much appreciated. I don't know what country that is in, but what are the second thoughts on the Maytech F722? Let's have a Google here for everybody. SE. I wonder if that means special edition. And that is, looks like, is this the bad boy that you mean? Let me know what country you're to from, brother. And sorry I didn't see your question the first time. What do we got? Dual flow control, dual gyro, OSD, $47. Maytech does make some really cool stuff. I think in one of my other live streams, they were the brand I was forgetting about, their VTXs. I've been using their VTXs for a while. Yep, I would say it looks fairly, it is an F7, so I don't know how much of an upgrade that is over F4. That could be debatable, but yeah, definitely doesn't look like a bad flight controller in any means. I do like these little mounting holes they've got at the side here. I find when I'm doing a build, it's easy if you can just slide that on there. It's going to be soft mounted, and it's also easy to replace too. If you just need to undo the top of the little standoffs, you can slide it off and on. If you need to work on the underside of it, makes it very easy. You don't need to kind of, I don't know, take it apart, as opposed to, no, this one's got the same in here. So yeah, it's fairly standard sort of stuff. But some of the old school ones, we used to just screw it straight down to it. This style I do prefer. Yeah, I would say, yeah, thumbs up. You will enjoy that flight controller. But also what we were looking at before is the Mamba. So there it is. For the price, you've got this one, which is about $15 more. I wonder if they do an F7 version, actually. Let's have a look here. Ooh, oh, that's a lot more expensive. This F7 version. Check that out, $104. And it's not even out yet. So definitely, if I had to choose this one for a few bucks more, you also get the ESC. All right. What is David Glenn is asking? What about using drone parts on the? Oh, I should say too with the. Oh, hang on, just one thing about this ESC. Sorry, this flight controller. With the dual gyro here, from memory or from as far as I know, it doesn't use them both at the same time. It uses, when it's doing its thing, it uses them at different moments during the flight. So sometimes it uses one, then it uses the other. It's not like doubling up on the flight controller power anyway. That, as far as I'm concerned, I think they do different things on there. But I wish I knew more about that. All right, let's press this. David Glenn, what about using drone parts for an electric skateboard? Same principles, totally different sizes and problems to overcome. So you Could not do that. The ESCs are way too small. The motors are way too small. Can I make a car out of quad motors? The motors may burn. Possibly. That's from OM Smiley Face. Ray Kettler. Would you recommend the QX7 or the X9 Lite? I would recommend the QX7 if you can get an old school version that can also run D8. Otherwise, it's much for muchness, whatever fits in your hand better, whatever shape you prefer. Too easy. And you know what? I think we're about to hit the 180 mark. 180, 100 and, what am I talking about? 1.5 hour mark, which is, I'm getting confused. That's 90 minutes. It's been too long. I'm getting delirious. I'm going to say I might call it there. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to go eat some lunch, I think. Take the kid for a walk around the park, all that sort of stuff. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Subscribe for more FPV related content. And I might be back tomorrow at 12. Is that something that you guys would be interested in? What do you think about these live streams? All that sort of stuff. Huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. If you've enjoyed the stream or I've answered some of your questions, definitely the link is up there if you'd like to support your channel. It is very much appreciated, especially in times like this when it can be a little bit tricky to kind of keep doing this as my career, to keep making these videos, informing people. Your Patreon makes it so much more possible to be able to do that. And also, if you threw some super chats, thank you very much. Hopefully I was able to answer your questions. Anyway, and that the Discord link is there as well. We jump on Discord all the time, have a chat. I'm on there daily talking to people. It's got over 13,000 members. A great place to talk FPV. It's free. You can go in, have some fun, share your videos, talk to a whole bunch of different people. Let's see what's going on in there. So you can already see there's people. We've got Blow Up the Cron who was in there. I have to jump in, have a chat to him at some point later in today. I haven't spoken to him in a little while. But, you know, there's already people playing the sim in there. You can jump in if you're in here in sim chat. You know, we've got Trev's personal bleep line because he swears too much. You know, if you want to jump in, just talk general FPV. You can have a look at voice chat, help chat. It's just people always talking about different stuff in here. You know, you can see how much chat is in here, but it's all about FPV. That's what it's about anyway. And we've also got all these channels down the side, and I would say it's a really happy, positive place. If you haven't checked out a Discord before, this is a really positive, happy place, and it's well moderated. And yeah, I've got to give a shout out to all the moderators as well. They do a fantastic job. You're going to love it. So if you haven't tried it, go check that out. Also the Patreon, if I helped you out, please consider subscribing. On that, subscribe for more FPV related content, and I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow. Anyway, and now I've got to figure out how to end this stream as well, because I'm still new to this sort of stuff. But I feel like I might be getting a little bit better at it each time. Anyway, happy flying, boys and girls and moms and dads. End stream.